Last year, I took all of my manga out of storage and it had been around 3 years since I'd purchased anything. But today, I've finally been able to get up to date with 100% of my manga collection, starting off with One Piece. I picked up volumes 92, 93, and the most recent 99. Now, volume 92 and 93 were exceptionally hard to locate. They've been out of stock for around 2.5 years now, and the second printing was only back in October of last year. What's really surprising is that these two volumes house the same number of chapters, but number 92 is extremely thinner in comparison. Volume 100 comes out later this year and we're still a ways from the end of the 10 arc in physical edition. I'm going to be starting reading One Piece once again come September, though I am still up to date on a weekly basis. By the time this video comes out, hopefully the new chapter will be available. And then the last series that I have to finish off my collection is volume 21 and 24 of Nitakoi. Now, I've had Nitakoi in my collection for quite some time, and a lot of the later volumes have been hard to find, though when I look at the back, none of them are second or third edition. They're all still first edition, obviously just not stocked that often. Now, this does bring me up to date with everything that I had last year, but obviously since then, and especially this year, I've been collecting a bunch of new series, a lot of recommendations. So obviously I've fallen behind once again on my collection, and I've picked up volume 3 of Drifting Dragons. I believe this has 9 or 10 volumes out at the moment, so I'll definitely be looking to collect more. I'm thoroughly enjoying the series. I love the designs of the dragons. They definitely look more alien-esque than actual dragons, which is a good enough reason to continue reading for me. The art is really beautiful and the world isn't that complex, and there's still a fair few characters that we haven't met yet on the ship, so I'm looking forward to reading more. I then managed to bring myself up to date with a few more series. Got volume 4 of Our Dreams at Dusk. I literally just finished reading this. This was a great LGBTQ series, and I think this was probably my favorite volume out of all of it. Old Man Seiichiro was probably one of my favorite characters from the beginning. I really wanted to learn more about him, and you get a lot more backstory involving him, which I really liked. And I just love the artwork for how the characters express themselves. It's just really beautiful. I then picked up volume 2 of Sucubus and Hitman. I'm really not too sure how I feel about this one. It's very violent. There's obviously a lot of guns, shooting, stabbing, but there's also a lot of violent sex and nudity. I'm enjoying the story and I love the female body as much as the next guy, but sometimes it just feels a little bit invasive, to put it nicely. I'll probably give it one more volume and see how I feel. One of the 4 bad guys that main protagonist is after has been killed, but yeah, hopefully the rest of them will be shot off quickly. Then it will be a relatively short series. Now, I'd already read volume 1 of Donuts Under a Crescent Moon online thanks to a recommendation. I had to pick this one up. I'm really enjoying it. I'll probably continue collecting this one. Just a nice, wholesome Yuri series. And to be honest, I kind of want it to stay that way. They could implement a third love interest, but then that just kind of makes it similar to all the other romance series that I've read. Then we have Freerin, Beyond Journey's End Volume 4, still enjoying the series. Nice fantasy, slice of life-esque. We're slowly getting to know more and more about some of the other characters. And Freerin is just pretty much the same as she has been since Volume 1, which was how she's been for like the past probably 1,000 years. We have Volume 10 of Chainsaw Man. This came earlier on in the month. I read this volume the moment I received it, and then I couldn't wait for volume 11, so I just read that online. The newest chapter has just come out for part 2, and I'll probably give this a second read. Plus, with the anime coming out sometime this year, hopefully, I'm looking to see how well they can animate the series. And then back in March, I started to pick up Jujutsu Kaisen. I picked up volumes 7 and 15, which came through. The Shibuya incident arc is starting to wrap up here. I think volume 16 might finish it off, maybe volume 17. I reread this recently and I've enjoyed it the second time around as much as the first time. It's just a shame because I'm not particularly enjoying where Jujutsu Kaisen is at the moment with the culling arc. Or maybe it's just not a good series to read on a weekly basis. I then picked up volume 1 of Sakamoto Days. I probably won't read this until maybe like the 3rd or 4th volume. I'm currently up to date with this on a weekly basis, and I kind of just want to binge the whole series once again. I've seen many people picking this up and not kind of on the fence if they want to continue it or not. I would suggest if you love action and comedy, continue the series because the comedy remains the same throughout and the action just gets better and better. I would say around volume 3 and 4, there's a really interesting arc that happens. Some villains are introduced and it just gets crazy. Stick with it. I promise you will not be disappointed. disappointed. I then cancelled my pre-orders for volumes 3 and 4 of the Dragon Quest Adventures of Dai, because I think these are 2-in-1s, or I think they're 2-in-1s or 1.5-in-1s, but I haven't started the series yet. I don't want to have too many before I decide that I don't actually like it. So I've got the first 2 volumes now. I'll give this one a quick read, and if I enjoy it, then I'll pick up the next volumes when they come out. One thing to remember, if you are looking to collect this, this is completed in Japan at 37 volumes. If these are 2-in-1s, if I'm correct, then we're looking at 18 to 19 volumes, maybe 17 if they do, 3-in-1s towards the end. So we're probably not going to see the end of this series, probably at least for another 3, 4, 5 years. So keep that in mind. And that brings me up to date with pretty much everything new that I've been starting other than Drifting Dragons. I then picked up volume 27 of Blue Exorcist. I've read this as well. And this is it reminds me of One Punch Man because it comes out so rarely. I think we get around 2 volumes a year. You kind of forget some of the characters and the plot points, but more importantly, you can read it so quickly. It's over within 30 minutes or so. And I just looked up and there are only 3 chapters that are not produced in physical form. Given that we only get around 5-6 chapters per volume, we're probably not going to get another volume of this until maybe sometime next year. That all kind of sounded negative, but I'm extremely happy that the series is still going. I'm enjoying it so much. I think we're coming to the end. I'm looking forward to the conclusion. I just hope nobody dies. And then lastly, I picked up Death Note. These are the short stories by Oba and illustrated by Obata. I just started rereading Death Note, and I never actually realized, but there's a little gleam and it actually says Death Note on the front, which I never noticed when I unboxed it. Now, I read the short story, which was, I think, a time skip of around 10 years, maybe 15 years. I can't remember. I've already read that on the Shonen Jump app. I had a quick flick through to see what else was in the book. And it also includes the original one-shot, which was also included in the volume 13 How to Read book, which is a bit of a cop-out, if you ask me, to produce the story once again. But then again, it has been a while since the series has been released, so I can imagine a lot of people own the original 12 volumes and probably have not read the one shot. And that was my June manga haul. I did pick up another 13 volumes, which I turned into a little manga vlog video. You can check that out if you like. So all in all, it was a total of 30 volumes. Not the biggest haul, not the smallest haul either, but I'm pretty much up to date with everything. I'm just taking loads of recommendations now. And maybe next year, I'll probably look to pick up some big series like Berserk, Blade of the Immortal. I would love to pick up a load of shoujo because although I've watched a ton of shoujo anime, I don't actually have a lot in my collection in manga form. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.